Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. A very special interview today with Better Business Bureau and Tiffany Schultz. It's Top Scams 2024. We have the data. Yeah, look out. This is going to be awesome. Dat Cap is my favorite time of year, too, because we do, their top 10. We've got the top 3 from Better Business Bureau, and some of them actually are kind of mimic what we saw in the state, but some of these are kind of interesting. So we'll start at number 3, romance friendship scam. In all of the top scams, we're seeing scammers developing long-term relationships with victims.
This is brand new data. Just came out. We compiled our 2024 scam tracker data to get you these top 3 scams that we're going to talk about today. And one of the surprising facts were that scammers are no longer, I shouldn't say no longer, because there's certainly those one and done scams out there where they scam you on a website. But we're seeing scammers developing longer term relationships with their victims to scam them out of even more money. And the number 3 scam, not in the top 3 scams last year, but fell into top 3, romance/friendship scams. And Jeremy, we've talked about romance scams on the show here, and what basically happens is the scammer reaches out, maybe a person has a dating profile, or maybe they've reached out on Facebook Messenger or a text message, and they start a relationship with this person and they fall in love and they're going to marry each other, but you've never met before. So this person starts asking their love for money. Maybe at first it's groceries, and it turns into car repairs, and it turns into an airline flight, and the asks never end. But this person isn't real. They are in love with a fictitious person who happens to be a scammer.
This isn't surprising because I feel like, I have no data to back this up, but I feel like there's been an expansion in the world of dating online. Like, that is like the new norm. Like, you don't go down to the local establishment, you don't go out, you go online. So it's not surprising that this is up. What's surprising, though, is the long-term piece of that. So it's as you mentioned, we talk a lot about these one-off deals, but to hook into somebody and then just keep draining them, like, yikes.
Not only have you fallen for a scam when you're falling for this, but it also plays with your emotions too, because this person isn't real. You're not going to get married, and while you're talking to this person, they call you, they video chat with you. You really think that you're in love, and you really think that you have a relationship, but you don't. This person doesn't exist. Yeah. So surprisingly, the loss for this type of scam is up substantially in 2024. So we're seeing an average median loss of almost $6,100 to this scam. So scammers are really taking advantage over that long term to scam their victim.
And, we're not, this shouldn't be a victim shaming piece here. This should be an education piece of like, hey, look, that when you're out there doing this type of, meeting people and whatnot, you gotta know what you're getting yourself into, and trying to figure out if that's legit. What would be some warning signs here that are like, hey, this is the too good to be true, or not, whatever.
First, think about who you're talking to. Do they have a profile that just checks every single box and they're just perfect for you? Maybe they're 15 to 20 years younger. That might be a red flag. Are they already talking commitment and you haven't even met them? That's another red flag too. So really pay attention. If they start asking for money, you haven't even met this person, it might be a scam.
And the emotion piece too. You talk about this in a variety of scams, but this one especially, you're looking for friendship. You're looking for that long-term partner. So, it makes sense that, somebody's interested in you. And if you've been out there waiting or looking, and you're like, oh man, like somebody's actually just slow down and just really think about what you're doing as you're moving forward. And that should go with any of the stuff we talk about today anyway.
Right. And moving into the number 2 scam, it kind of takes a completely different 180. You're not talking about romance, but you're talking about employment.
This one's interesting, that employment scams are number 2, but also I believe that, and you're going to break this down for us, but the way there are more jobs where you don't have to be in the office necessarily, or you're away. So it's not, to me, again, another area where that is expanded substantially, where we open the door to working at home, or these too good to be true jobs, so to speak. So tell us, what are you seeing in these job scams for people who are like, this is like the greatest job ever, the best thing I've ever seen. Uh-oh.
Again, scammers follow the news. They know that people are working from home, and employment scams are the number 2 scam overall, but they're also the number 1 scam for our younger employees, 18 to 34. Think about it. You know, they grew up during the pandemic, and they're used to doing everything online. They see a great job that's remote, work from home, inflated salary for little work, and that's really how they get you in and they lure you in. They may do a video interview with you, and many employers these days are doing video interviews. You haven't even met them in person, and you may even get hired by the company and start working for them, and you're filling out paperwork, bank information, social security number, all of that personal information. Maybe they send you a check to go buy equipment to work from home. You purchase all the necessary equipment and you have $500 left over. You ask them what they want you to do with it, and they tell you, well, just send it on back to me. Meanwhile, that check is going to bounce on top of it. So you're out all of the money. The good thing with employment scams is that we saw the loss decrease to about $1,500 per occurrence from 1995. So people are losing less, but it's still the number 2 scam overall.
Yeah, so if you got that, the youngin that's entering the workforce for the first time, or somebody who's fed up with their job and is trying to move, and again, that too good to be true, you got to do a little bit of research and verify what it is. We'll talk about how you can do that a little bit later. The number 1, and this one I assume is going to be the top forever, is investment in cryptocurrency scams. Like it just feels like it is, because there's just so much unknowns in this area on either end, and you could be like, how do you not know how to invest? Because it's finding that person, it's the trust value, it's all of those things that you just don't know what's going to happen when you hand over some money, right?
Again, this is a long-term relationship, just like these other 2 scams are. And scammers know that cryptocurrency is something that consumers aren't knowledgeable about. And why wouldn't you want to make money? We're in a high inflationary period, and people are making money on their investments, so that they come across somebody, maybe they meet them online, maybe they meet them through a social media platform, and they tell them that they can help make them money through cryptocurrency investments. And they tell them to go down to their local grocery store or gas station, and you can buy Bitcoin right from the machine. And once you have purchased Bitcoin from a machine and you've turned it on over to somebody who had told you they can make money for you on the exchanges, you never hear from them again. So they are out to steal your money. They're not out to make money for you.
And the ultimate deal with any of these things is some common things. So it could be doing your homework. It could be the research into it. It can be the, too good to be true. The general warning signs are generally there. It's just taking that step back for a second and be like, hey, is this really legit or not?
And 78% of scams that originate online, people are losing money from. So all 3 of these scams, people are losing significant dollars to. And that scam is originating online, whether it's a website, a platform, a social media page, a text message. It's through an online means that they are reaching out to you.
I always wonder too, as we do these segments, what people are they're like, how can people fall for this? How can people? Well, let's give you that data right now, because surprisingly enough, we're losing lots of money. So median loss among all scams is
$130, 30% increase from the year before, 30% more. And we think about online purchase scams were number 1 for so long. They were number 3 the year before. People lost $100-some towards them. People are losing thousands now, which is increasing that median loss.
Last year, the seniors were not the top losing. That was the top loser. Not what I wanted to say, but seniors ages 65 plus lose the most this year. A flop from last year.
$160 median loss for somebody 65 plus. That has flip-flopped. Our 18 to 24-year-old group is still losing significant dollars, but our seniors are losing the most these days.
So you got to be on the lookout no matter what. And I assume that keeps flip-flopping. I'm just going to take a stab at that I think it's probably there. Men lose almost double than women.
Sorry, Jeremy.
I did this when we were talking about this in the pre. Yeah.
You're not doing your
No.
homework.
No, we aren't. 200 versus 102. It's not good. 78% of scams with dollars lost originated online. You had already mentioned this, but online, again, it's the wild west of anything, right?
We talk about this, and all three scams that we have just talked about, every single one of them originated online. Online purchase scams, which is, number 4, originated online.
And finally, the most impersonated organization is...
What's old is new again. People may have forgot about this organization, or maybe thought it took a back seat, but Publishers Clearinghouse, number 1 impersonated organization for 2024.
How is that possible?
Scammers use it to impersonate Publishers Clearinghouse, and people have won big money. All they have to do is pay for something, maybe pay for the check to be shipped, or give personal information. So coming in number 2 was the USPS, which we saw as number 1 last year with all those delivery scams, and rounding out number 3 is PayPal.
Man, crazy. All right, so I mentioned earlier that there is a way to stay up on all of these things and report it as well. And that, BBB, if you're a great organization trying to help people stay aware of what's going on, helping businesses stay connected with consumers staying connected with businesses. But in all of this, we want you to report it, and you got to stay up. And, we talked about this, we just did this the last interview, but I'll say it again. Scammers keep up in the news. They keep up on what's going on. You got to do the same thing. You got to keep yourself educated in these things and know that it is happening.
Report these scams to us, bbb.org/scam tracker, regardless if you've lost money, because we are able to help take that information and push it out into the marketplace. This is where we get the top 3 scams, the top scams. We're able to educate you every day on what's going on out there in the marketplace. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Ooh, maybe that's going to be our theme this year. Knowledge is power. We could start every interview and end every interview with that. Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing. It's always so great to have you, and great to bring insights into these things. And hopefully we can stop some of this and turn those numbers. Get them down. Let's get them down.
Thanks for having me today.
Thank you.